The wedding cake crashed to the floor in a mess of frosting and broken tears. The band stopped playing. The guests gasped. And my sister Jessica stood there, her face pale, her perfect day ruined. All because of me. Just hours before, she had told me, "You're too country for my wedding. You'll embarrass me." So, I did the one thing that would make her regret those words. I pulled my $20,000 investment. Now, the venue manager was demanding payment. The caterers were packing up. And Jessica's dream wedding was falling apart in front of everyone. But this wasn't how it started. 6 months ago, Jessica called me, crying. "Lily, I'm getting married. But the wedding is going to be so expensive. Can you help?" Of course, I said yes. We were sisters. Even though we were different, she loved fancy things, and I was happy in my boots and flannel. Family was family. I worked 2 jobs to save up, and I promised her $20,000 to make her day perfect. Jessica was thrilled. "You're the best sister ever," she gushed. But things changed fast. At the dress fitting, her future mother-in-law, Mrs. Whitmore, wrinkled her nose at me. "Lily, dear, maybe you should dress up a little more for the wedding? You look like you just came from a barn." Jessica laughed. "Oh, that's just Lily. She's always been a little country." I forced a smile, but it stung. Then came the bridesmaid meeting. Jessica handed out expensive silk robes to everyone except me. "I didn't get you one," she whispered. "I didn't think you'd like it." The other bridesmaids giggled. My face burned, but I stayed quiet. The final straw? The rehearsal dinner. I wore my nicest dress, still simple, but clean and pretty. Jessica took one look at me and pulled me aside. "Lily, I need to talk to you." Her voice was cold. "You can't be in the wedding party. You're just too country. The Whitmores are high-class people. You'll embarrass me." My heart dropped. "But I helped pay for this." She shrugged. "You can still come as a guest. But stand in the back, okay?" That night, I cried harder than I ever had. I had given everything, my money, my time, my love, and it wasn't enough. So, I made a decision. The next morning, I called the venue, the caterer, the florist, everyone I had paid. "Cancel the payments," I told them. "The bride will handle it now." Then I waited. The wedding day arrived. Jessica was glowing, laughing with her bridesmaids, completely unaware of what was coming. Until the venue manager walked up to her. "Ma'am, we haven't received final payment. If we don't get it in 10 minutes, we're shutting this down." Jessica's smile vanished.
"What?"
"Lily handled all that." The manager shook his head. "She canceled everything this morning." Jessica turned to me, her eyes wide with panic. "Lily, what did you do?" I just smiled. "I'm too country for your wedding, remember?" And then chaos. The cake was wheeled out, but the staff stopped it. No payment, no cake. The band packed up their instruments. Guests started whispering. Jessica's perfect wedding was crumbling, and she had no one to blame but herself. But this wasn't over, because right then the doors burst open, and in walked someone nobody expected. The door swung open with a loud bang, and every head in the room turned. Standing there, in his old leather jacket and dusty boots, was our dad, the man Jessica hadn't spoken to in 5 years. His face was hard, his eyes locked onto Jessica. "Heard there was a wedding," he said, his voice rough. "Guess I wasn't invited." Jessica's mouth dropped open. "Dad." The room buzzed with whispers. Mrs. Whitmore looked like she was about to faint. I hadn't seen Dad since he left after Mom's funeral. He'd been broken, angry at the world, and Jessica had cut him off, calling him an embarrassment. Now here he was, walking into the disaster she created. He glanced at the half-empty tables, the confused guests, then at me.
"Lily," he nodded.
Then his eyes landed on Jessica. "You look just like your mama." Jessica's face twisted, guilt, anger, something else. But before she could speak, Mrs. Whitmore stepped forward. "This is not the time for family drama. Jessica, we need to fix this now." Jessica's fiancé, Ryan, finally spoke up. "Babe, what's going on? Why didn't you pay the vendors?" She whirled on me, tears in her eyes. "Because Lily betrayed me." Dad crossed his arms. From what I hear, you betrayed her first. Silence. Then, the venue manager cleared his throat. Folks, we need payment or we're shutting this down in 5 minutes. Panic set in. Ryan pulled Jessica aside, his voice low but sharp. You told me everything was handled. I thought it was, she cried. Mrs. Whitmore dug into her purse. How much do we need? The manager listed the numbers. Cake, $3,000. Venue, $10,000. Band, $2,500. Catering, $8,000. The Whitmores paled. They didn't have that kind of cash lying around. Jessica turned to me, desperate. Lily, please. You have the money. Just fix this. I shook my head. You told me I didn't belong here. So I left. Dad stepped forward. I'll cover it. Everyone froze. Jessica stared at him. You what? He pulled out an old checkbook. I'll pay. But not for you. He looked at me. For Lily. Because family sticks together, even when others forget. Jessica's face crumpled. But before Dad could write the check, Ryan's phone rang. He answered, then his face went white. Jessica, the honeymoon suite. They just canceled it. The resort said you never paid the deposit. Jessica's legs buckled. That's not possible. Then she remembered. She'd used my money for that too. And now it was gone. The room erupted. Guests started leaving. The Whitmores looked ready to disown her. And then Ryan dropped the bomb. Jessica, I think we need to talk. Alone. The way he said it, cold, distant, sent chills down my spine. This wasn't just about the wedding anymore. Ryan's grip on Jessica's arm was tight as he pulled her into the empty bridal suite. The door slammed behind them with a finality that made my stomach drop. Through the thin walls, we could hear the sharp edges of their voices, though not the words. Mrs. Whitmore clutched her pearls, her face pinched. This is unacceptable, she hissed to no one in particular. Dad just stood there, his checkbook still in hand, watching me with sad eyes. You okay, kiddo? Before I could answer, the door flew open. Ryan stormed out, his face like thunder. He didn't look at any of us as he grabbed his jacket and headed straight for the exit. Ryan, wait. Jessica stumbled after him, her makeup streaked, the hem of her designer wedding dress dragging through spilled champagne. He turned at the door, his voice cold. It's over, Jessica. All of it. Then he was gone. The remaining guests erupted into shocked whispers. Mrs. Whitmore let out a strangled cry and rushed after her son. Jessica stood frozen in the middle of the destruction, her perfect day in ruins around her. That's when she locked eyes with me. Something in her expression shifted. The anger melted into something worse. Regret. Lily, Her voice broke. Dad stepped between us. Enough. His voice carried through the room. This ends now. The wedding planner chose that moment to timidly approach. We need to clear the venue in 20 minutes. As if on cue, staff began dismantling decorations around us. A worker started folding up chairs just feet from where Jessica still stood in her wedding dress. Then came the sound no one expected, laughter. Jessica's college friend, Danielle, was doubled over near the bar. Oh my God, she gasped between giggles. I told you not to mess with Lily. Jessica whirled on her. This isn't funny. Danielle wiped her eyes. It's a little funny. Karma's a bitch, huh, Jess? The tension broke just enough for people to start moving. Guests made awkward exits, some pausing to pat my shoulder on their way out. The staff worked efficiently around us, erasing all traces of what was supposed to be the happiest day of Jessica's life. Dad put a hand on my back. Let's go home, Lily. But as we turned to leave, Jessica's voice stopped us. Wait. She stood straighter now, wiping her face. When she spoke again, her voice was steadier than I'd heard it all day. You think you won, Lily? This isn't over. Then she did something that shocked me more than anything else that day. She smiled. And that scared me more than all her yelling ever had. The limo ride home was silent except for the hum of tires on pavement. Dad stared out the window, his jaw clenched tight. I kept waiting for him to say something, to yell, to cry, to ask how things had gotten this bad between us. But he just sat there, a storm brewing behind his eyes. When we pulled up to my little ranch house, the porch light was on. That's when I saw it, Jessica's car parked in my driveway. She was sitting on my front steps, still in her ruined wedding dress, her phone glowing in her hands. Dad tensed beside me. You want me to handle this? I shook my head. No. This is between us. Jessica didn't look up as I approached. Her fingers flew across her phone screen. Then I heard the telltale ding of a social media notification from my own pocket. I pulled out my phone. There it was, a new post from Jessica already going viral. Asterisk, my own sister sabotaged my wedding because she's jealous of my happiness. Watch the full video exposing her lies. Link in bio. Asterisk. My stomach dropped. I clicked the link. Up popped a beautifully edited video, Jessica's tearful face, shaky footage of the cake falling, spliced with out-of-context clips of me rolling my eyes during wedding planning. The caption read, asterisk, when family betrays you. Asterisk. Comments flooded in by the second. Asterisk. Wow, what a horrible sister. Asterisk. Asterisk. I'd never speak to her again. Asterisk. Asterisk. This is why you can't trust anyone. Asterisk. Jessica finally looked up, her eyes red but dry. Now you know how it feels. I couldn't breathe. Years of helping her, loving her, sacrificing for her, erased in one viral lie. Dad snatched the phone from my hands. Jessica Marie, you take this down right now. Or what? She challenged. You'll disown me? Oh wait, you already did. That's when I noticed the camera still recording in her other hand. She was live streaming this. I lunged forward, not at her, but at the porch light switch. Darkness swallowed us whole. In the blackness, Jessica's voice was venomous. Too late, Lily. The internet already knows the truth. A car door slammed. Headlights flicked on, illuminating Jessica's triumphant smile as she walked backward toward her car. Have fun being famous. Then she was gone, leaving only tire marks and a phone buzzing endlessly with notifications. Dad turned to me, his face grave. We need to. My phone rang. An unknown number. I answered. A woman's voice. Lily Carter? This is Good Morning America. We'd love to have you on tomorrow to tell your side of the story. I hung up. Another call came in immediately. Then another. My hands shook. This wasn't just viral. This was wildfire. And then the final blow. A text from my boss. Asterisk Lily, don't come in tomorrow. We need to talk. Asterisk. I sank to my knees in the grass as my entire life exploded in the span of 5 minutes. But Jessica was wrong about one thing. This wasn't over. Not even close. Because now I was angry. My hands stopped shaking the moment I made my decision. I picked up my phone and called the one person who could help me set things right, Danielle, Jessica's former friend. Took you long enough, she answered on the first ring. I've been waiting for this call since the wedding imploded. I didn't ask how she knew. You got the receipts? Danielle's laugh sent chills down my spine. Oh, honey, I've got enough to bury Jessica 6 feet under. She's been screwing people over for years. You were just the first one brave enough to fight back. While Dad paced the kitchen muttering about lawyers, Danielle and I worked through the night. By sunrise, we had everything. 1. Text messages proving Jessica knew about my investment. 2. Videos of Jessica mocking me to her bridesmaids. 3. The kicker, financial records showing she'd been stealing from her own wedding fund. But the real gold came from an unexpected source. Ryan called me at 5:17 a.m. Jessica's been cheating on me for months, he said, voice raw. I have hotel receipts, texts, everything. Want to make this go nuclear? I did. At exactly 8 a.m., when Good Morning America went live, we struck. Not with tears, with facts. While Jessica's manipulative video had played on emotion, my response was a surgical strike of evidence. The internet exploded. By noon, Jessica's Instagram was flooded with #CountryJustice comments. The wedding vendors came forward with their stories. Even Mrs. Whitmore gave an interview saying she'd been horribly deceived. But the sweetest moment came at 3:42 p.m. My phone buzzed with a call from Jessica. I answered in my best country drawl. "Well, hey there, big city sister." Her scream could have shattered glass. "You ruined me." I let her rage for a full minute before cutting in. "No, Jessica. You did that all by yourself. I just showed the world who you really are." The silence that followed was more satisfying than any revenge fantasy. Jessica moved to another state. Ryan and I became unlikely friends. Dad reopened the family ranch, with me as co-owner. Danielle? She runs a successful revenge consulting business now. As for me, I learned something powerful that week. Being too country wasn't my weakness, it was my strength. Because country folk know two things better than anyone. 1. How to spot a snake. 2. Exactly where to hit it.